In the past year, I've made myself a collection of reptiles and invertebrates that I keep as pets and study every day. These animals are all different in their own way, and I find them really fascinating. Alright, this is Rambo, my Argentine Tegu. Argentine Tegus can get over 4 feet long. The males get over 4 feet long. Females stay a little bit smaller. Rambo's a male, and he's about 3 feet long. He's the biggest reptile I own right now, and his personality is amazing. He never bites. I have a leash for him, and I take him outside. He walks around, or yeah, he doesn't actually walk around, I carry him. And when I put him on the ground, he just sits there all day. But I can show him to all my friends and he won't bite or anything. The worst thing he can do is scratch. And I trim his nails, so it's not that bad, but sometimes his nails do dig into my skin, and that can get painful. I trust him around other people. I could be touching his face or whatever, he won't bite. There was a study published by the Journal of Science Advances, and I have it printed out right here. And they showed that during mating season, tegus increase their body temperature, their internal body temperature, and can maintain it well above that of the surrounding environment. This makes them really cool to talk about to people who don't know a lot about reptiles. So now I'm gonna get my snake. I have a reticulated python. Her name is Mocha. She's a normal reticulated python. They do get 25 feet long. Or I shouldn't say 25 feet long because they can get 25 feet long. A lot of people feed them a lot. They'll get to be that big if you feed them a lot. If you don't feed them as much, they won't be that big. They'll stay under 20 feet, I would say. I do have a permit for this one. Since they do get big, in New Jersey, you need a permit. Let's see, what else can I say? She's a captive bred normal. It's a big upgrade from the last snake I posted on YouTube, which was a Puebloan milk snake. I don't have that one anymore, so you won't be seeing that one in this reptile room video. But this snake is just amazing. I can't wait until she gets bigger. Okay, so on this top shelf we have my Asian forest scorpion, my Texas brown tarantula, and my Vietnamese walking sticks. Right here is my Asian forest scorpion, the one that was in part 2 of my last reptile room video. Died, and I preserved it. It's right here in this jar. This one's eating fine. I got it at a PetSmart, not at an expo like I did with most of my other animals. And in there you could see, I forgot what it's called, the hornworm. Yeah, I think it's a hornworm pupa, and that should turn into a moth. I had other hornworms, but they got eaten by my chameleon or died. Here is my Texas brown tarantula. I'm gonna take this one out so you can see it better. This tarantula is really cool, but it hasn't eaten in a while because it's in pre-molt, and I'm just waiting for it to molt so it'll start eating again and hopefully getting bigger. So now I'll put this one back. Alright, so on this lower shelf we have a few more things. Right here is my North American Millipedes. The Millipedes name means thousand-legger, which is what they appear to be, but they actually only have 200 to 300 legs. Right here is my Millipede. I'm not going to take them out because that one just molted, and that's why its color is a little bit weird. And there's 2 in here. It's actually a breeding pair, but I don't know where the other one is. It's somewhere in there. Back here we have my Mexican red knee, who's also in pre-molt, like the Texas brown, so she won't eat either. And that's actually one of my favorite tarantulas. I have 55 tarantulas, around that number, and that's one of my favorites. This right here was actually my first tarantula. It's Chilean rosehair tarantula, and she's burrowing a lot. I should get her a tank like my Costa Rican zebra has, which I'll show in a little bit, because that Costa Rican zebra loves to dig. Right here we have Madagascar hissing cockroach babies, which I actually bred myself. The adults are down here. And over here we have some more tarantulas. Right here is orange baboon tarantula in its little burrow. You can't really see it, but this one's really fast. When I first got it, it jumped out and it took me a while to get it back. Right here is my Mexican fireleg tarantula. It's in the Brachypelma genus. And right here is the other one. I have two of them. It's a male and female pair. And this is my male. And up there is my female. And last on this shelf is my Phidippus audax, the daring jumping spider. This is a really easy spider to keep. I actually found it inside of my house, so I didn't even have to buy one. And there's a cricket that it ate recently. But yeah, these are really cool. I've raised this one since it was a baby. And here's the next shelf on this rack. And right here is my Costa Rican zebra tarantula. And her tank is probably the nicest out of all my tarantulas. In here she burrows. Before, in her old tank, she had about this much substrate and she burrowed all the way down to the bottom and made herself a nice little house. Right now she's just in her burrow right there. And she is huge. She's my biggest tarantula. But something that's bigger than her is in here. This is my African giant millipede. She might not look too big in the video, but she is huge. I posted some pictures of her on Instagram. You can see her on my arm. I might post it here on the video. And I try not to hold it a lot because I think it's gravid. And for these, you're not really supposed to hold them if they're gravid, so they actually have their babies. And if I got babies from these, that would be awesome because I've been looking for these forever. And when I saw it at the expo, I had to buy it. On this shelf, we have my white line gecko. This is a pretty simple tank setup. There is a heat pad taped on there for the white line gecko. It's got a water bowl, and inside of the substrate, there are actually superworms and mealworms both breeding. You can actually see one right there. That's a superworm. And there's beetles crawling around in here, and there's even crickets breeding in here. So there's a constant food supply in this cage for him to eat. Now we'll move on one down. And these are my cockroaches. Okay, so I have Turkestrian cockroaches, the red runner roaches, and my Madagascar hissing cockroaches, which I just bred. I'll take one out. This is a male. And over here is a female. They breed at warm temperatures. If you keep them cold, they will not breed. And I learned that through experience and from what people posted online. And here in my red runner roach colony, I have red runner roaches, but I also have buffalo beetles. Here you can see some of the worms of the buffalo beetles. And these, some people call them micro worms or micro mealworms, because they're super worms and mealworms, and then these micro worms, and they're breeding in here constantly. I have so many of them, and they're so beneficial because they eat all the dead bodies of the cockroaches when they die, and it keeps the tank very clean. It's very low maintenance. And now I'll explain what's in that critter keeper. Okay, so here's the red runner roach tank. In here I have a ratio of 1 male for every 3 females. So I have 9 females in this thing and 3 males. Because if there's too many males, they're gonna start fighting with each other and they won't be breeding. So in here, in the bigger space, is where I keep all my juveniles. Here you can see all the juveniles. I have a bunch of them. And they're all crawling on my arm. These guys breed pretty fast. There should be more. over here. And yeah, I have a ton of these guys. And there's just little beetles everywhere eating whatever's left in the cage. And this tank is just set up perfectly for me. I have a constant food supply for all my animals. In the next couple days, I should be getting about 50 dubia roaches. They're all males, but I should be getting some females soon. And then I'll be breeding those in another tank, which I have over here. It's empty, there's nothing inside. I'll probably just put the dubia in there. One more thing about these Turkish cockroaches is that they do not give birth to live young like the Madagascar hissing cockroaches do. They actually lay oothekas, and here's one. And in my other tank, I already see, I saw a couple in there. So everything's working perfectly in this tank. And here's a close-up of some of the babies. Here's Rango, my veiled chameleon. He's in a 65-gallon screen tank. He's got UVB, heat lamp, this rectifogger, which if I turn it on, releases fog into his cage. I mist him every day like this. And if I open his cage up, we will see him better. Rango is not a fan of being handled. If I stick my hand near him, he will try to bite. Even the phone. See, he's already trying to bite. But he's really cool. I've raised him since he was little, and now he's getting to be pretty big. And his cage right now is a big upgrade from what he had in the last reptile room video. This right here is my Tokay gecko. They're pretty easy to take care of, but I don't recommend them to everybody because they're pretty mean. As you can see, he already tried to bite me, and I just stuck my hand by his head. They're very defensive. They're nocturnal, so they don't need special lighting. You can find them throughout the forests of Southeast Asia. I read they're one of the largest geckos in the world, and they have calls that sound like barking, and they bark in defense, as you can hear right now. There you go, that's the barking. Now when I try to pick him up, he's also going to bark a lot. Right here is my leopard gecko named Oscar. He is a bell albino leopard gecko, and he's in a sliding 20-gallon glass tank. He's really friendly. And this is probably the best pet if you want to buy a kid a reptile. They're really easy to take care of. They really eat superworms and crickets. And here's the water dish, food bowl, hide, and under this hide there's a heat mat. You can see the outline right there. And my Tegu's out. He just escaped while I was filming. You know what? I'm gonna feed him. Here's his food. He eats a lot of variety. He gets chicks, mice, rats. This right here is ground turkey. Oops. He's trying to eat my hand because he thinks it's food. But this is not food. This is calcium. And this calcium is Herptivite, multivitamin, and Reptile Calcium with vitamin D3. This is the two I use. I think it's the best. And I also have this Reptile Calcium without vitamin D3, which helps for different occasions with different animals. In here is my Reticulated Python. She's in her hide right now. She's about to shed. And I'm not going to take her out right now since I already did at the beginning of the video, but this is her current tank setup. Under this there is a heat pad, so she gets all the heat she needs. And occasionally I'll put up a heat lamp on the top of her cage. And this is another sliding top tank, and it is locking, So whenever I want to take it out, I take this out and then put it back on when I'm done, so she doesn't get out, because snakes get out a lot. It's very common for a snake to get out, and it's really hard to find them after. So from now on in the video, most of it is going to be tarantulas, because as I said before, I have around 55 tarantulas. Most of them are slings. In here, there's another scorpion in here, but we'll start off with these right here. I already showed this one. This one was the male Mexican fire leg. And right here, we have my pokies. This is the fringed ornamental tarantula, P. ornata. I have 2 of these. If I can find one to show. Right there is one of them. You can almost see it. And yeah, right here is the other one. You can see that one better. These are really fast. As soon as I take this out, like, they could just jump out and be gone. And right here is my favorite out of all of them. This is my green bottle blue tarantula. You can kind of see it right there. Here, let me try to zoom in. These tarantulas are really cool. They get a good size and they web a lot, and the feeding response is amazing. This one's gonna change colors a lot. I'll see if I can post a picture of what an adult looks like around here. In here we have small mealworms for the baby tarantulas. As you can see on my arm, my Tegu does scratch me a lot. That's the only bad thing about owning a Tegu, I guess, but any big lizard will do that to you if you don't trim their nails. Right there's a baby mealworm that I feed the Tarantula Slings. Alright, so now we'll get into this. Okay, so here are all my Tarantula Slings. I showed you some other ones over there, but here's most of them. Right here we have Brazilian white striped bird eaters, all of these. All of these are Mexican red rumps. Right here we have Venezuelan sun tiger. Right here is scorpion with mealworm that just shed. The scorpion looks really cool, and they get a good size too, so I can't wait to see this one grow. Now, right here we have another bird eater, salmon pink bird eater. These are pretty cool. I'll open this one. And let's see, we have an H-Mac, which is the Togo starburst baboon tarantula. I don't want to open these since they are really fast, and these are really fast too. These are actually horned tarantulas, rear horned tarantulas. I forgot what the common name was, but these are super fast. And let's see, what else do I have? Do I have anything else? More red knee babies, 2 of them actually. My last video got about 250,000 views right now. It's the most viewed reptile room video of 2015. I can't believe it got that big, but I always read all the comments and I try to respond to most of them. So yeah, that's basically it for the reptile room video. If you guys want to see more, just comment and I'll try to post more of these reptile room videos. The last one I posted was in July 2015, and I'm just making another one now. I should have made one earlier. As for the next reptile I want to get, I don't really know. I think I want to get an albino Burmese python. That's really the main thing. But other than that, that's it. And thanks for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my other videos.